Hello. We returned. Oh, my legs are killing me. Oh.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're crouching down.
Oh. You don't know. You know where I went this weekend?
I have no idea where you went this weekend.
Oh, that's right. You were there. I totally saw you, dude. You were there. My legs are shot. I tried to kneel down and work in this car today, and I was like, oh, no, it's not happening. This, whatever this is right here, you know the rocker's stance, the rocker's pose, where you're like, do that 5,000 times.
Oh, that's right. You were doing that. You were doing lunges, basically.
No more lunges.
Where were you, Ian? Tell everyone.
Power trip. It was so good. Started off. Wait, who even played? It's all a blur.
Well,
Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden, Guns N' Roses.
Bruce Dickinson came out in his 70-year-old awesome sauce self and ruled it. What, 3 hours?
Yes.
That dude. When I'm 70, if I could do that, I mean, you win. You win. That guy kicked butt.
We saw AC/DC.
Next night, I mean, it was an after band, but I don't even remember that.
We saw AC/DC. We saw Tool. Metallica.
Judas Priest. Rob Halford came in. This is what I wanted to go. It was like teenage band favorites, right? Rob Halford showed up. Big old beard, looking like a grandpa. Killed it. So
Totally
good.
nailed it. I'm definitely an Iron Maiden fan now. Now that I saw them live, like they were so good.
There was some criticism of the lineup, but if you know Iron Maiden, if you're so deep into it, like myself,
it was really cool.
Yeah, they played the songs from their entire career, which is awesome. Tool, the winners. I mean, Sunday night there was another band, but Tool owned it, in my opinion.
Metallica was good, but I'm a Tool fan as well.
I could go there, but you know when you hear the song, it's kind of like watching the other TV show that I'm on, where they replay it over and over so many times that the sound becomes the same.
Correct.
Yeah, that's why we're doing a YouTube, because when you hear the same information over and over, it becomes redundant. Iron Maiden was so old it was fresh. Judas Priest, same game. And Tool is just ethereal. Cool. You can't put a timestamp on that. But we're not here to talk about music. We're here to talk about Volkswagens and my achy legs. I was working on that floor section in the back, which is progressing. But when I kneeled down in there today to work on it, I said, I'm going to cut the roof off instead so I don't have to kneel down inside. Check out the progress, what I've been up to. I was just welding in a cross brace right here, because when you cut the roof off, the structure goes away. So this is a good solid car. I'm confident for what I'm doing. This is all I need. But you might put the camera in here and see this panel I made. The way the original floor pan bolts in, there's this area here, and it has 3 bolts per side. Well, the third one has been cut off. But I made this panel to represent that mounting flange. So you can see how I'm coming in and grabbing the body here. I made a 1/2 inch hem edge, which is very rigid because the bolts go through and hold that pan down. That pan being this pan when it's all attached. So you can see how I'm just starting to work the welds through this curved area. Once it's flat, I'll put the screws in like I usually do and spot weld all this. The other side is yet to be done because that's when I realized my knees are killing me.
Oh no.
On this back view, you can see the left and the right side are in, attaching the flat rear portion to the upright corners. So there's a bit of strength in this. So I feel confident enough to cut the top off because we're going to chop the top. That's right.
I'm excited.
Me too. But it's going to be a little bit different than your standard chop top. Remember we were talking about this vent window or vent here in the body and why I didn't worry about trying to do anything here, because the chop top is going to cut right through the back of the car, pretty much from the corner of where the deck lid or bonnet, whatever you want to call it, because it's in the rear, but it's an engine cover. We're going to cut right through here. So that's all going to go away. We're going to cut right above this quarter panel replacement right here. We're going to cut the door tops off, which are damaged. I have the other door tops from the original body. That's damaged as well. And then we're going to cut through here. The big surprise is that it's not going to be the standard Beetle roof chop top. Some of you remember Johnny Jalopy. I'm sure a lot do. He has been a major influence in so many projects. And we're going to revisit one of the things that didn't happen with his and my plans for a different project. Can you stand the suspense? Do you like the way I built that up?
I can't stand it. I have no idea what happened.
And you don't even know, you didn't even see me dragging these parts around for the last half an hour prepping for this, did you?
No.
Let's go outside. Some folks may remember seeing this introduced on another show. We thought it was a stand-up shower enclosure, but in fact it is not. It's a kiddie pool. No, it's not either. It's got this cool little rear hatch. I'll drag it inside so we can get a little better light on the subject. It's windy. Hold on. Oh, yes. So this is one of those van roof kits you see. It's not a Vendetta. It's made by a different company. I'll look up the name of it. It's VW Spectre. That's what it is. So this is their van roof kit. I'm going to lay it on the bug just to show you. It won't fit very good because we've already done a lot of work to it. Johnny and I were throwing down this idea for this really low chop top Volkswagen looking thing, wagon roof, and it just didn't happen. But I told him, don't worry, we're going to reuse it on another gig, and here we are. You see where we're going here?
I do.
With the Baja Bug kit and the wagon roof, the long roof, but chop top and lowered. Somebody take the smile off my face. Talk about bucket list lifetime achievements. Here we go. I'm going to push this forward so you can get a little better light without looking in that window. So you can see it's not even anywhere near close to fitting because we already mocked this car up with a mega chop top. That's why this roof doesn't fit. These screw holes landed somewhere down here. We deleted the side stamping in the car. It's going to be a smooth side. And then we also angled the B-pillar in the other car. So you can see there's a significant amount of modification needed to be done to the steel just to fit this on without these weird gaps all over the place. Shall we begin? Got quite a collection of these Beetle roof skins now. I'm gonna make something out of them someday. Here comes another. So I talked with Johnny about what we had done, and we worked so fast through it. You know, I think we both came to the agreement that we call it a dollar bill chop, right? Well, how low was it? Oh, it's a dollar bill chop. Where does that term come from? We never came to that conclusion, but we decided that the windshield was as tall as a dollar bill. So let's measure that. So this is what we did in our original mock-up of the other car. We said, okay, well, the windshield's going to be that tall. That's a US dollar. Don't try this in Europe, Australia, or anywhere else, because the results may not be the same. It's about a 6-inch tall windshield. So that means, Johnny and I forgot if we measured or not, but it looks like about an 8-inch chop top. That's pretty significant. I think we arrived at that because we looked at this flat area through the drip rail in the front, and we looked at it and we said, man, 8 inches would be pretty darn severe. So that's what we did. Like so many things, I'm probably going to chop this 6 inches right now and then take a look. Because 8 inches is a massive chop top. It might look kind of silly. First step, now that we measured, we're going to take out this glass to get rid of it.
Wow.
One way to do it. All right, 8-inch chop top. Here we go. Starting with 6 inches. I got the brace in the body. I put it along where the door latches are, just so that area stays put. It's a very strong body. The rocker panels are fully intact. I'm going to start by cutting off all the door tops. It's going to have one-piece windows in the end, so I'm just going to cut this right out. Begin the demolition.
So silly.
As a performer, you have to be dramatic. You have to engage the audience. You know I took an acting class, don't you?
Ooh.
Don't you like my hat?
Ah.
So I mentioned a 6-inch chop. So I'm going to start with the windshield because you always have to cut the roof cap off. But I'm going to start with shortening the windshield 6 inches just to see. Ow. Ow. Look there. All right, now we got some good reference points. I'm going to use the cutting disc. That way you don't have so much shaky shake action. And I think, just because I'm feeling like it, somewhere in this area. I'm going to set this aside till later. But here's the plot twist. There's a whole theory about chopping tops. And the first one is try not to catch the car on fire too fast.
Uh-oh.
I say try not to catch it on fire too fast because pretty much an eventuality. Something's going to burn. When you try to put the windshield on with a 6-inch chop, I mean with every chop, but with a 6-inch, it's going to become really apparent in that it's just not going to fit. You line up this pillar here. Look how much narrower it is.
Oh, wow.
That's a standard thing with a chop top. Most cars are sort of a pyramid, right? They're fat at the bottom and they get thinner towards the top. So the more you chop it, the more of this mismatch becomes. But looking at this already, wouldn't you say that windshield looks too big?
Yes.
Let's cut it another inch. See what I'm going for? Baby steps. Don't overdo it. But I'm going to cut 1.5 inches off because I'm crazy like that. 1.5. There's one thing I know. As fast and loose as I go into cutting this stuff, on the other side, when I'm ready to weld and I do my final measurements, it's usually not that perfect. So I'm still above my target in height. So whichever gap is a little bit off, adjust as necessary. In my life, it's not a perfect world. But in the end, you make it look like it matters. So you can see how I lay it out. It's kind of a connect the dots scenario. You just put the grinding disc in, make it hit each marker spot. inch and a half more. Yeah, now we're in the ballpark. Let me get a little stick and a clamp. Let's take a look at that. I mean, it's all about proportion. I want it to look as so proportioned as possible. Yeah, you can see it's a little higher on the passenger side, but that's why I left it up a little bit. It's also this one a little bit. Yeah. I think that's the height. I'm not going to go any lower on that. Because once the window rubber's in there, it's going to look tiny. All right, so we have to widen that windshield a bit. We want this strip rail to come outward to meet the other one. And that's 1.25 inches on this side. It's 1.25 inches on both sides. So that's 2.5 inches wider. So now I'm going to split it down the middle, make it bigger. 2.5 inches. Do that job on the bench. You can see you got these cool little areas to measure. You got the holes for the window visors, you know, the front windshield dealies, and they're 35. So half of 35 is 17.5, and that puts you right in the center of the rear view mirror mount. Good deal. I'll split it right there. I want that 2.5 inch wider. I'm going to set up some clamps and begin a little jig. I got that clamped underneath just as a holder. I'm going to measure out 2.5 inches. That's 2.25. Let's learn to measure, shall we? I just grabbed any random piece of scrap. It's not square or anything, so I'm going to try to just set this in place. Let's see how that works out. You can see it's a delicate little arrangement of finesse. Now I'm going to put a flat bar across here because the glass or whatever windshield is in here is the paramount concern. I'm probably going to run Lexan to start with, but we definitely want that to be as flat as possible through there. Just like that. So this is the part of the operation where every time you move a clamp, another clamp falls off. It's not a perfect world. But somehow they all end up aligning in the end. It's wonderful. What I'm mostly concerned with is the outside drip rail. That's really where it counts. Yeah, that looks pretty reasonable to me. I'm gonna do a couple quick measurements just to see where we're at. So from the windshield wiper, we go 8.5 to 8.25. It's roughly 8.5, pretty much through the top. Windshield wiper, yeah, it's a little bit higher up on that side. It's still pretty much 8.5. But both sides, you got 8.5 right to the apex of that. Yeah, so that the center's good. It's going to dot a little weld on each side of the drip rail. It looks like it's coming up just a hair this way, but I can work with that. I want to mention a couple things about the way I'm setting this up. I said that I go through measuring and cutting really fast because there's so many different modifications that get done in the window surrounds. That's why I'm paying attention to the outside drip rail. You'll see this mismatched gap here. This area gets a complete patch from the parts I cut out. That's why we save all this stuff. So see, this radius would never match this. They're just way different at this much chop. So I come in with this piece later and I modify it from about here to about here and just piece that in. That way it looks like a nice surround. What I'm concerned with, again, is the outside and then the door opening in here. You can see this inside flange where the weather strip will touch. That's just a little bit of modification to get that to line up. So really that's what I'm considering. This and then the drip rail edge. So all the interior parts are going to get modified. I'm just leaving the clamp in there. This underlying piece of steel, I'm just going to tack that in place for now. That way none of this stuff moves, because the roof cap is going to be very important proportionally as well. So I want to get this set up, and I'm going to tack weld this little upright brace into place so nothing is sticking through the roof. This panel in the roof is actually going to be double thick. It's going to be a fiberglass cap on here, so I'm setting one underneath. I'll get in from underside and tack that in, and then I'll put another strip right through. So here it's twice as thick as the original sheet metal. The dance with this type of fabrication is keeping it symmetrical and stopping it from moving as you change places with the clamps. So you can see how it develops. All right, so now I'm going to put this roof on and see what happens. Looks like it's starting to fit a little better, huh?
Mm-hmm.
As I remember, that's about where it was sitting. That look weird enough to you?
Yes. Yes, yes, it does.
That's an incorrect answer. It's not weird enough. I think we're good for today, because the next time we talk, we're going to get into Johnny Jalopi's drawing and how that idea advanced tenfold. So I think next time we're going to come back and discuss how this idea that Johnny and I will advance. This originally was like a wide fender, full-bodied bug. Now it's a snub-nosed, the narrow-eye Baja wagon, but the windshield is in for a major, major treatment. That's why I only went this far. So come on back. Things are going to get even weirder.